Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to another week of Football Clowns Anonymous. You are here with your boy Kurtis Pinkney. I'm here with my co-clown Red Smith.
Skull Vikings.
We did absolutely fucking horrible last week. We just got to rip that Band-Aid off. This isn't the Oracle you're seeing right now. This is a goofy co-host.
This is the Disney character sideshow to Mickey Mouse named Goofy.
Just
both of us. And you just said it before we started recording. You're the one with the goofy hat, but that really belongs to both of us this week.
Yeah, we might have to do some photoshopping and get you locked into this hat because yikes. We are. Oh, Ren won a couple of bets, but other than that, we have gone. Let's see, probably. Well, let's just say 5 L's, 6 L's. And 2 wins at the moment, and we are praying for a Houston-Dallas under that is. It's gonna be another red mark. We did pretty bad. Lost a lot of money.
It was an ugly showing. The saddest part is I took a road team +3. I didn't even go to +3.5. That's the one that hit for us, and a football team laying 13 points seems to hit for us, but we couldn't keep the Falcons and the Chiefs within a score. Neither one of them was within a score. The Chiefs somehow lost by 9, but it didn't matter because earlier in the day, my Falcons +8.5, they got embarrassed by the Denver Broncos, who might be for real at this point. And so there was no question that was going to have a chance. But boy, it was sure sad to see that coming. And Kurtis took a whole bunch of unders, and we ended up with a whole bunch of overs.
Yeah. Fun for fantasy, terrible for my bets. We'll get to that Rams-Patriots game because we've got questions about Drake May. Is he nice? Question mark? Definitely not nicer than Matt Stafford, obviously. But, so that game ended up being pretty fun. Colts-Jets, that was pretty fun game. Anthony Richardson, welcome back, young man.
Yeah. Do we have to change our tune on him? Is it too early it's probably too early to tell, but
100% too early because we see the flashes, we need some consistency. We
saw those before they benched Richardson. So there's no telling that, Yeah, my guess is that they just decided, we sucked with Richardson. We put in Flacco. We suck with Flacco. We might as well sort of stoke I don't know what the right phrase is, but we might as well bring up the young talent rather than just let this old fogey, take us to mediocrity.
Right. I mean, the kid needs reps. He's either gonna suck now while getting some experience or suck later with no experience. So I mean, might as well get him in there and see what we can figure out.
I would like to just interject a couple of joyful moments from this past week. Please. Despite that, we got our ass handed to us on betting. I hit my Jets under on the season win total. It's not even week 12, and they already proved that they cannot win. Kurtis is celebrating on Google. I wonder if those will show up on the recording. I hope so.
I am curious myself.
We're going to have to check that out. We'll go to the tape, literally. The Jets did not need 12 weeks to prove that they would not be able to win 10 games, which is absolutely hilarious and makes me feel very validated. So that one is very good. And just as a programming note, we've said this before on the show, I'm going to go ahead and repeat it. Fuck Aaron Rodgers. And please restrain me because I play in 4 fantasy football leagues and I am heading to 4 victories this week for the first time this season. I cannot be stopped and I need to be restrained and someone needs to talk me down. In the league that I play in with Kurtis, I almost backed out of this league. I almost was like, you know what? I got a lot of things going on in my life. Just had a kid. Maybe I want to do 3 fantasy leagues instead of 4. I decided, you know what? What's the difference between 3 leagues and 4 leagues? Really not that much, right? So I decided to play. I scored 180 points this week, and I'm moving into first place. I cannot be stopped. I will pause now. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me this moment.
You really need to get that off your chest. In that same league, I'm in jeopardy of missing the playoffs at this moment. This L, and I'm getting my ass whooped. A nice fat L. Not helpful.
Nope.
Not helpful at all. But in my big money league, your boys 9-2, probably the most complete roster top to bottom that I've ever had in fantasy. It's definitely a top 3 for me. And
I was you sent me the whole roster earlier today. I got to be honest with you.
Hey,
I was very impressed with that roster, especially in a league where you're playing for real money and the people are presumably care.
Yeah, this is it's definitely my most competitive league for sure. The waiver wire is always bare. We've only got 4 bench spots, 1 IR spot. And players are getting picked up off the waiver wire, a week or 2 before they're getting popular. It's one of those kinds of things. This roster is beautiful. Just the draft, beautiful. The waiver wire pickups, masterful. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but if I lose with this roster, I might have to quit fantasy football because there ain't no way, bro. Like the depth is crazy. Like I can withstand a few injuries.
You don't need to make definitive bold statements like that. However,
I
because
really
I
know damn well I just fucked myself, but
you know that fantasy football giveth and fantasy football taketh away. In that championship game, it doesn't matter if your team is good. You're still there's still some luck involved.
Yeah. The only reason my roster looks so strong is because it's largely avoided injuries up to this point. I mean, I've got T. Higgins, who is, par for the course. I've had JT out for a little bit, but for the most part, I mean, injuries were spread out. So I just got lucky is all that really happened. But good week there.
Well done.
Yeah. Yep. Looking forward to the playoffs. I'm excited about that. Something to be excited about because we obviously can't bet for shit.
Nope. Until this week when we come back with a vengeance.
Until this week. And we did, in fairness to y'all, because I'm sure y'all went down with us, everybody that listened to us, we did say that since when we were in such lockstep with all of our picks, we were going down in flames. We did mention that. We did tell y'all. We forewarned.
We gave you the disclaimer. If you still went in with us, that's on you. I think
I don't know what to tell y'all. Yeah. I mean, if you saw us jump off a bridge and we said it was a good idea, you coming with? Anyway.
I mean, if someone tells me they're a clown, that's automatic disqualification from listening to them. But
yeah, I would tend to agree. But so with that, I mean, we want to recap these games and give up the people the insightful and in-depth knowledge that they so crave.
Yes, absolutely. Well, of course, we do have one game going on right now, which is a dumpster fire in and of itself.
It's not horrible. I mean, 17-10.
Dallas score? Oh, they did kick a field goal. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Putting your under in severe jeopardy.
Yeah, we're not watching. We're watching for a good football game at this point.
Cooper, if you were watching for a good football game, you'd find one where Cooper Rush isn't one of the quarterbacks.
It's crazy because at the start of it, they flashed his record. That boy's 5-2. 2 losses to the Eagles, of course.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but it gives me hope that the end of this game will be entertaining.
It's really interesting. Texans were favored by a whole 7.5, so they
were.
Really have no excuse to drop this game, but they very well still could.
Yeah, and Nico Collins looks very healthy. First play of the game, called back on penalty, of course. 75-yard screen touchdown.
Did he really have that? I didn't see that. That's wild. That's amazing.
First play of the game, but again, called back on penalty. So
devastating.
That hurt.
Yep. Well, but yeah. Sorry, not to take the course of action and go this way, but go ahead, sir.
No, you're right. It's just the sadness that the reason that this game makes me sad is because even with that 75-yard Nico touchdown in my fantasy team, it's still not even close. Like I still have zero hope, even if I were to start the game with that touchdown. It's just sad, bro. It hurts. I run this league. I've been running this thing for 4 years, 5 years now, however long it's been. Just always a fucking pain in the ass. And y'all are scrubbed. Like y'all aren't even nice, bro. That's the terrible part.
You
Oh,
can't. You can't look at my team and say that I'm not nice at this. And
I
that
can look at your team and say you're not nice.
that's then you're blind. You're absolutely blind. I can't believe you would say that. I got Brock Purdy for $6, which you made fun of. He's QB like 4 at this point. Okay, let's get that up. Let's get that out of the way. Brees Hall and Jonathan Taylor. I have Amon-Ra St. Brown. I picked up Cade Otton because Dalton Schultz was a scrub. You know, I'm ready. I'm ready for the playoffs.
Juwan Jennings.
Hey, that's a tightly contested issue in our friendship. Juwan Jennings. I recently got rid of him in my dynasty league, and I got Jameis Winston for him. And well, I got Dontavian Wicks and Jameis Winston, and I had to give up Mac Jones just because of a quarterback limit and the number of quarterbacks you can have. I put in Jameis Winston for Juwan Jennings. I put in Jerry Jeudy. The Winston and Jeudy stack this week got me a victory in that league, 135 points. I survived Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill was starting against me, 37 points, and I survived because of the Winston Jeudy stack. So feeling good about that. Like my team a lot better when Mac Jones wasn't my second quarterback. Although, who knows, maybe I should have started Cooper Rush because I have him sitting there too for no reason. Terrible.
Yeah. Your dynasty squad is a smidge of a dumpster fire is what I'm hearing right now. And you just gave away a decent piece for a player that you didn't even mention in your "This is how I survived the week" story, and Jameis Winston. Got to play
the long game. And Juwan Jennings to me is not a long-term play. That's just my opinion. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will. We'll be tracking this one.
We'll be watching Juwan Jennings next year, and I know you're going to be pointing it out if he's doing well next year. If he does well for the rest of this year, that's not part of the discussion, because he absolutely will, and I acknowledge that. I'm in 11th place. Well, I'm moving into 10th, but still, like I suck. So there's no point in any of this. I'm trying to set myself up for the future. That's the bottom line.
Speaking of teams that suck, the Jets lose again to Anthony Richardson, coming back off a 2-game benching.
The Jets suck and should not have been favored in that game. You cannot change my mind about that, and I'm really glad that
even with Anthony Richardson, you still think it made sense for them not to be favored. I mean, obviously not, but
you can always say in hindsight, right, who should have been favored, but the Jets shouldn't be favored, maybe against the Carolina Panthers, but the Jets shouldn't be favored again. Like with what we've seen from the Jets this year, they shouldn't be favored against anyone. The organization is a dumpster fire. They're the same old Jets. It doesn't matter if you bring in this star power. They're the same old Jets to me. I don't care if they're at home. They shouldn't be favored. They shouldn't be favored for the rest of the season against, like I said, maybe the Carolina Panthers or maybe the Jaguars without Trevor Lawrence. But that Colts team is not amazing, but they have a lot of good players on it, and that's why I don't think that they were not built to win that game, even though it was close. They weren't built to win that game.
I was going to say, like, you look at the box score. I mean, the Jets on offense had a great game. Aaron Rodgers went crazy. Nice efficient day from him. 22 of 29 for 184 and 2. It's not a bad day. Brees Hall, a couple of touchdowns.
Brees Hall's a dog. Aaron Rodgers is a scrub.
Yeah, it's just they just find ways to lose the game. It just kind of seems to be inevitable with them this year.
And I can't explain or quantify this, but there are just certain teams I feel like when they don't pass the eye test that you just see them finding opportunities for failure. It's a really hard thing to quantify, but you just kind of know it when you see it. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is that when you see the Jets are favored by 4 points in that game, sure, maybe on paper, whatever, but you know it when you see it. They should not be favored to win.
Yeah. I mean, you've been on that pretty much all year. You have refused to let me speak any optimism about the Jets. And
one of the few things long term that I've gotten right this year. Remember, I also said the Vikings were going to win like 3 games. So let's.
I mean, looking at that schedule, it's crazy. It's crazy what they're doing right now.
I have a question for you to go back and change the subject a little bit here. Who's the best team in the NFL?
I think it has to be the Lions because they beat the shit out of everybody they play.
Wholeheartedly agree.
And they don't feel bad about doing it. Like, they don't feel bad about running up the score on you.
The 50 burger against Mac Jones and the Jaguars. No
Yeah.
remorse. They kept the
No.
starters in late too.
Yeah. that's wild. I mean, I am 100% here for it, but it's just like you can't that offense is nuts, bro. Like, Jared Goff, 24 of 29. We just heard that stat line from one Aaron Rodgers. Slight difference. So, of course, Jared Goff throwing 412 yards on 24 passes with 4 touchdowns. Bro, what the hell? David Montgomery, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, 69 yards, 1 touchdown. Like, bro, everybody's out here cooking.
They
game.
They are the epitome at this moment. They are the epitome of a buzzsaw. They can't lose. I don't see them losing. I don't see them losing. I can't pick a team in my head that I could see them losing to at this point.
No.
That's why I think they're the best team in the NFL. And I was wondering, I just wanted to see if you'd still say it was the Ravens, because somehow the Ravens are an amazing team. However, somehow they have 4 losses now. It's actually, and one of them was to the Raiders, and another one was to the Cleveland Browns. Like, you could forgive the Chiefs, and you could probably forgive the Steelers too, to be honest with you, even though that was the most recent one. But that was a great grinded out type of AFC North game that we would expected it to be. Also, that was
just the classic. Yeah.
It's what everybody wanted and what everybody predicted. It was still really fun to watch, even though I feel like you just kind of knew from the beginning that the Steelers were not going to be denied in that game.
It certainly had the feeling the whole game. I mean, from the Derrick Henry fumble from the jump, and just when Lamar was running around back there, the same magic wasn't happening, on a consistent basis. You just knew you just could feel it. Justin Tucker out here missing field goals, like, just wasn't their day. All kinds of penalties. They were shooting themselves in the foot on seemingly every drive. It just was not meant to be. The Lions do not have those missteps. I think they had one game a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, where they should have lost. I think it was against the Texans, but then it was against the Texans last week.
Against the Texans.
They should have lost that game, but since they're the Lions, they were able to overcome just a trash first half and ultimately win the game. The Ravens can't do that. So that's the difference. I mean, that's why it has to be the Lions is the answer there. Until shown otherwise. I mean,
until shown otherwise, they're the buzzsaw. Another related question that I don't even have in the show notes: who are you going to pick to win the AFC North? Do you think? I mean, is it because the Steelers just took command of first place and a tiebreaker? I'm kind of curious about what your response is, but I don't know that I necessarily have a definitive answer myself.
I am still going to pick the Ravens, and this is without looking at their schedules.
They do have to play in Baltimore still. I know that.
Yeah, they do. They've got the Eagles, they've got the Chargers on Monday night coming up. Texans, Browns again to finish the season. I mean, they got the Giants in there. I mean, that's not necessarily an easy schedule there. Steelers, Browns, Bengals, Browns, Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals. Yeah, I'm definitely picking the Ravens, because there's no way the Steelers coming out of that gauntlet relatively unharmed. Like, that's a tough stretch of games there.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting finish, but obviously the Steelers set the tone in a big way and gave themselves a chance. They did, but I don't think they're going to be able to get away with only scoring 18 points. Too many more games moving forward. I mean, you got the Bengals twice, the Eagles, Ravens again, the Chiefs. Like, it obviously worked. I mean, it was like you mentioned, the standard Ravens Steelers smash mouth game, but that's not going to be every game. You can't convince me otherwise. Nope. Tend to agree. And speaking of division winners, actually, one of your favorite teams has all but mathematically clinched their division already. It's actually kind of astonishing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the.
Oh,
Well,
talking
actually,
the
it could be
Bills.
either one. Could be either. Well, no, it's
Well,
not.
you're talking
Actually.
about the Bills. You're
I'm
talking
talking
about the
about the
Bills.
Bills. Yeah.
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 Bills, great win on Sunday. Josh Allen, hashtag that guy, even down two offensive weapons, still went ahead and took it to the Chiefs. The scrambled on 4th and 2 to seal the game pretty much exemplified the feel of that game. It feels good. I mean, Dolphins, if they had Tua the whole season, that'd probably be a little bit more interesting. You could maybe make the argument that if the Pats started May all season, they'd be an interesting kind of very sneaky team at the moment. Maybe.
Potentially, but they did upset the Bengals with Jacoby Brissett at the quarterback too.
Yeah.
So just to be fair.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, suffice to say, I mean, the Bills looking real good right now. With the 1 seed firmly in their sights. I mean, if the Chiefs stumble, I mean, they've got some tough games coming up. I mean, there's a strong potential the Bills could go ahead and snatch first away from the Chiefs. So this was a very big win. Nice to see the Chiefs falter a little bit. We've all been waiting for it. It was overdue.
They deserved. I mean, at a certain point, they were going to. I mean, some of their wins have been really phony. I mean, just like the Bucs should have gone for 2 to try to beat them. Going back to some of the earlier games in the season, Baltimore could maybe probably should have beat them in that opener. I mean, they've been due. I actually saw a stat that they had of all 9-0 teams ever, they had the lowest point differential. So they're barely beating. Oh, and the Broncos, they had a lucky field goal block to stay alive there.
Yeah.
They were scraping by, and this road game against their I'm not going to say their arch nemesis, but not the Chiefs' arch nemesis, but it's the Bills' arch nemesis. This is their Super Bowl. They wanted to win that game. That 4th and 2 touchdown run by Josh Allen was electric. That we should have come and visited you 2 weeks later and gone to see that game. I know that the Dolphins game was awesome, but I don't know why we weren't looking at the schedule, trying to think. Man,
a little sad. I had the same thought, but here we are. Yeah, I remember during the broadcast, I think they pulled up the stat that the Bills generally win the in-season matchup and then fall in the postseason. So it's more or less par for the course. We need to have this same game when it counts, because
yes. You need this for the tiebreaker too. I mean, you don't want to play you don't want to play the first week.
No, and you certainly don't want to play the Chiefs in Arrowhead. No, and I don't have the Oracle hat on right now, but I'm going to go ahead and call a Bills Chiefs playoff game in our future.
Oh man, please! I just got to say, please, we need that. We need that in our life. I mean, can you imagine the AFC Championship game between the Bills and the Chiefs in Buffalo?
Didn't go last year, but I don't think it was a championship game, but they hosted the Chiefs. I think I would probably gotta go. I would have to. They're going to win that. They're going to win that game.
Spend all your money, all of it, all of our gambling winnings to be down in the lower bowl. And by all of our gambling winnings, I mean you're going to get a cardboard box in the parking lot.
I was going to say you might pay for half a pizza.
Pizza. Man, it was football games, man. Super expensive.
Yeah, they can be for sure. Any other games we want to touch on? Seattle beat San Francisco.
That was that's not in the show notes here, but that was actually a really interesting upset. San Francisco has shown a lot of, for lack of a better word, susness. They've not really looked the part of the Super Bowl NFC champion team that they were last year. So it was actually really interesting to see, and it was on San Francisco turf too. I think. And I mean, this is just a very blanket high-level statement that I'm going to make here. That game to me, when I saw the final score, as I was, perusing casually on Red Zone and taking my kid to the park and all the other fun things you do when you're a dad on Sundays that aren't football. Wah wah. But anyway, when I saw that game had finished, I was reminded this is why we don't want to touch division games with a 10-foot pole. Are the Seahawks better than the San Francisco 49ers? In my opinion, no, they are not. But any given Sunday, and especially any given Sunday in the division, you can see those kinds of things. I don't even know that it was the Niners that or the Seahawks that won as much as it was the Niners that lost that game. Not able to put up 20 points at home. Come on. You got McCaffrey's back.
Pretty soft defense too. I mean, the Seahawks don't have a great defense. And with that loss, they're in last in the division. The Niners are in last. Now, granted, I mean, everybody's at 5-5 except for the Cardinals at 6-4, so it's still very much wide open. But it just, I don't know. They need, Kittle, not having Kittle probably was not great. Probably didn't help very much. Maybe this is an indication of just how important he is to that offense at the moment. I don't know. I don't know, but they need to get it together. I mean, yeah, because even with McCaffrey back, I mean, they haven't necessarily been. He's done okay. I mean, for fantasy, he's steady Eddie. I mean, he's guaranteed 15, but just not quite the same. Maybe he's still working his way back a little bit.
It just goes to show too that last year's performance is not. I mean, you can bring back the same team, and last year's performance is not going to always repeat to the next year. It's not just a copy and paste. This team was good last year; they're going to be excellent this year. I mean, I know McCaffrey's been down for a while, but he's back now. You got to be winning these games if you want to go and make a run in the playoffs like you did last year. So,
and they've got a tough schedule coming up: Packers, Bills, Bears, Rams, Dolphins, Lions, Cardinals.
L's, lots of L's in there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the Niners might be in trouble.
They might not make the playoffs with that schedule and their record right now.
That's not good.
Because I don't think they're going to. I mean, I don't think they're going to go 500 in that stretch, and they're 500 right now. So it's kind of crazy to say, but I'm going to go ahead if I was a betting man, which unfortunately for my wallet I am.
They're sitting at the 10 seed right now. I don't know, bro. I don't see a wild card in their future.
It's not good. Not good with those. I think the only other question I had for the week was, we touched on it earlier. Is Drake made good at football? I mean, I know they lost the game, but the Patriots are kind of finding themselves again. Makes me sick because I want them to be bad for the rest of my lifetime after all the Super Bowls they won with Tom Brady. But good for them for finding their quarterback. And right now, it actually kind of looks like.
Let's pump the brakes.
You want to pump the brakes? All right. Okay. All right. Tell me why.
There were similar whisperings about Mac Jones. When he had some good games, and it was like, did we find another quarterback? Blah blah blah. It's
a little early.
I think it's okay to pump the brakes. Just to, let's not crown him the next coming of Tom Brady or anything. Like let's just nice and easy. Because I'm still not seeing a winning record.
Go ahead and clarify that I did not call him the second coming of Tom Brady. I said they found their quarterback, and I guess that's probably too generous at this point. I'll give you that, but I'm not saying he's Tom Brady. I'm just I think their win total was 4.5 at the beginning of the season. So the fact that they're sticking in these games and showing signs of life is surprising, I guess.
It's promising. I agree. But they're still not winning. Maybe I'm being too demanding or expectant of these young bucks, coming into the league and need to make an instant impact. It's probably asking a little too much. There's been a full spectrum and a full gambit the last couple of years of these young guys coming into the NFL and how good they can be. On one hand, you've got Bryce Young. On the other hand, you've got a guy like, CJ Stroud, especially last year, but now Jaden Daniels kind of looks the part of that too. Right now, if you had to redraft the first few picks, are you changing your order? If you're the Bears, are you changing your pick? Interesting. Here's a good question. I'm putting you on the spot a lot today. I feel bad. I'm putting you on the spot a lot. I'm going to answer that question first. I'm taking Jaden Daniels. I think you got to switch up your pick. Yeah. Oh fuck. Yes, obviously Caleb Williams is supposed to be the generational talent and blah blah blah. But if you all the woulda, coulda, shouldas don't matter when it comes to seeing the product on the field. And if you get a glimpse of that product and is not what you thought you were paying for, why would you pay for it again?
I tend to agree with that. Yeah, I mean, it'd be the same thing going back to the Panthers last year. Obviously, they would have taken Stroud instead. So, yeah, you can't. No, right, exactly. So, yeah. Anyway, it's I'm coming up with these. I'm coming up with the difficult questions, putting you on the spot.
Hey.
This is what the people pay the big bucks to listen to our show for.
I you know what? Speaking of difficult questions, how come Jerry Jones was able to put up curtains for the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight, but couldn't do so for his own football players? Why was that difficult?
That's a great question. When your top receiver, this guy you just paid all this money to, number 88 CD himself, is asking for you to put up some goddamn curtains, you might want to do that. They call it home field advantage.
Catch the ball.
Home field advantage for a reason. I don't get it.
Jerry Jones, wild boy, man.
Yeah.
Did you happen to watch that fight?
No, I did not watch the fight. Was it on pay-per-view? Did you find a jank stream for it?
It was on Netflix.
Oh, was it really? Okay. No. Yeah. How'd it go?
Jake Paul fought a 58-year-old man, and it looked like Jake Paul fought a 58-year-old man.
So he got his ass kicked.
He had to pull back for 80% of the fight or hold back. Mike Tyson looked like a 58-year-old man. Like,
why can we talk about why Mike Tyson's back? Why did he just decide?
He got paid $20 million.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. If someone paid me $20 million to get the shit kicked out of me, I think I'd probably.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to Jake's credit, I mean, he didn't it wasn't really a fight. It was throw a couple of things to kind of make it look like we're doing something, but it was, for all intents and purposes, Jake just letting this old man live, because he probably would have whooped his ass. Like, it was a 58-year-old man in the ring. It was kind of sad in a weird way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it was.
It's not the way you want to. It's not the way you want to go out and kind of, you're kind of tarnishing your reputation a little bit, maybe. Or, I mean, your reputation's probably safe, but it's like you don't need to do this, Right.
Like joining the New York Jets and as the quarterback of their football team.
Hey, full circle. There's a 58-year-old man taking the snap, can't get away from any of the defensive linemen, gets his ass handed to him.
Hey, bro, this boy went into a darkness retreat and came out and was like, you know what? This is a good idea. I'm back, baby.
Man, I've been through the darkness. What did he say? I've seen the darkness. What an absolute dipshit. Oh my God. I can't stand him.
I don't know if we noted this before, but the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, the whole kit and caboodle have officially made default clown of the week status, because just a rough going of things over there.
When we name our clown of the year, it's going to be really tough to not name the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers.
It might be, yeah.
I know you're going to have a hard time not naming Jerry Jones, but you got to give me my moment with the Jets.
Hey, bro, you know what? I'm gonna give you a whole 5 minutes, bro. I want a nice monologue from the heart.
Yeah. Hey, go ahead and send us in. Speaking of which.
Yeah, so my real clown of the week, it has to go. I don't have a good little story or thing to lead into this week. I am just perplexed. Cincinnati Bengals has to be the clown of the week this week. I don't know what the stats are, but I would have to imagine their offense is easily a top 3 offense over the past 5 or 6 weeks right now. Joe Burrow is lighting up the fucking scoreboard. The running game is going crazy. Jamar Chase is doing Jamar Chase things. When T. Higgins is in the game, it's damn near automatic every time, bro. Like, between him and Chase, they're going for probably about 300 between the two of them. Probably 2 or 3 touchdowns. Chase Brown has been going nuts on the ground. Like, Joe Mixon, bro? And it's just, how do you keep finding ways to lose these games? You have been within striking distance of that 7 spot for the playoffs for the past 4 weeks. and you just continually find ways. Which one would it be actually?
Continuously, probably. Actually, you know what? Either one works, I think.
Yeah.
Grammatically. You pick your favorite.
Continuously find ways to fuck that up. Like what is going on right now? We want to see you guys in the playoffs. We want to see this Bengals team in the playoffs.
They were tied and had they erased the 21-point deficit. They had 2 field goal opportunities in the fourth quarter, and they just hooked both of them. What are you doing? Like, take the lead.
The level of disgust that I saw on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase's faces during the post-game questions when they were asking about the kicker, the level of disgust in their face was, I mean, you got to make those kicks, bro. Like, every game from now on is a playoff situation. Like, these are must-make situation. Like, you don't have the option of losing or of missing those field goals.
And not only that, but then they were gonna hold the Chargers to a field goal, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll go ahead and just give up a 40-yard run to Dobbins." I think it was Dobbins.
It was to Dobbins because it saved my fantasy week against my wife.
Oh man, that's big time for so many reasons.
Yes,
keep the household. Humming along.
Sir. J.K. Dobbins and T. Higgins both put my team on their back. It was pretty nice,
pretty glorious.
But yeah, man, we get your shit together, dog. You're clown of the week, Cincinnati Bengals. Go ahead, man. I know you got some stuff to get off your chest.
Well done. I couldn't decide. Actually, I did make a decision here, actually. In the show notes, I don't have a decision. I have no particular order. I have 3 different choices because I was kicking them around. I'm going to go with 2 honorable mentions really fast. The first one's an honorable mention because they were my clown of the week last week. Quarterbacks with the last name Jones. You are honorable mention for clown of the week. Daniel Jones is now officially benched, and Mac Jones could not put up more than 6 points in the game. I know Detroit's good, but you have once again embarrassed yourself. So that's an honorable mention. Another honorable mention is the Chicago Bears, who have now lost, I think it's 11 straight games against the Green Bay Packers, and in full Denver Broncos fashion, could not make the kick at home to give your fans you suck, and you can't give your fans something. They paid money to come see you beat the Green Bay Packers. You have a field goal kick to beat the Green Bay Packers, and you get it blocked. Well done. Also an honorable mention. My actual clown of the week has got to be the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm not going to say Kirk Cousins is part of that. I'm not going to name Kirk Cousins necessarily specifically. The Atlanta Falcons just have all this hype coming into the season. They have a season win total of 9.5 or something like that. They come into Denver with a rookie quarterback, and they get their ass handed to them on a silver platter by 32 points. I don't think they scored a touchdown. It was 6. They had 6 points in that game. Let's go back and take a look at this great Atlanta Falcons team. You situate this quarterback right in here, and you say instantly we've gone from bad to good. Can you protect him against a team that rushes the passer? Oh no, we can't. And Kirk Cousins, as a pressured under pressure, is awful. I watched that for many years as a Minnesota Vikings fan. But now we go back to the draft. We got a nice first round pick somewhere in the middle of the draft. Are we going to help our team? Nah, we're going to take Michael Penix Jr. Good job. And nice job giving your team a chance to compete in these games against a rookie quarterback. Oh my gosh, I can't handle them. Falcons, Atlanta Falcons, your whole organization, clown of the week, and welcome back to the dark ages here pretty quick. That's my prediction. Because Kirk Cousins is an old man. He's not 40, but he's an old man.
A broke ass foot. Yeah.
You're in trouble. And who won that trade, by the way? The Vikings getting rid of Kirk Cousins, because now you've got the season-ending injury that you have. You offload your dirty laundry. And I'm not saying Darnold is great, but man, that was a ticking time bomb ready to explode. Well done.
Yeah, I have to say the Daniel Jones situation just brings a giant smile to my face, pun intended. You get rid of Saquon Barkley, send him off to the Eagles, betting on Daniel Jones instead,
Dumbasses.
just to wind up benching him, putting him at third string. They said Drew Lock is the backup. Just, you hate to see it. Yeah, I hate to
They
see
are a
it.
dumpster fire.
Brian Dayball, that man's out of here. I
Oh,
don't I
yeah.
don't know who the OC is. He's probably out of here.
How
Just
many people can we blame before we realize that Daniel Jones should never have been paid because he beat in a playoff game the 31st ranked secondary? I've been low on Daniel Jones since then. I am, however, I have to throw this in there. I am, however, disgusted because I have a dollar bet on Daniel Jones over 8.5 interceptions this year. He has 7. He won't get to 9 because they benched him. That's how bad he is.
pain.
They should pay me because I was right that he's bad. But
Yeah.
instead, he's not going to throw interceptions because he's not going to throw passes because that's how bad he is. I was too right. Terrible.
Terrible.
Clown of the
Yeah,
week.
hate
I'm
to see
renaming
that.
clown of the week as me instead. I'm joking. But man, devastating.
Yeah. So those clowns of the week, we obviously had a lot of good candidates. We don't normally lean into our alternate choice, our honorable mentions, if you will, but this week we felt so compelled, had to. But as always, we love to move on from the clowns of the week by jumping into our key games of the week or key matchups of the week. Basically, we're looking at the games that excite us the most, and we have got 4 wonderful games highlighted on this sheet here. Where do we even begin? I think we got to start with San Francisco and Green Bay here. That is going to be a fun game. We both have San Francisco winning with 24 points. Ren has Green Bay at 20. I've got Green Bay at 23 points. Vegas has Green Bay favored by 1.5 points, huh? Wow.
It's a terrible take. I'm not we just got done talking like shitting on the San Francisco 49ers. That's a terrible take. This Packers team is phony at the moment. They're phony.
Putting them at the favorites. I don't know. I got the over. Okay, so
They're
the over and under at 48.5. Yeah.
They're a favorite because they're home. No other reason.
Yeah, that I might, in my personal account, I might be having to touch that one a little bit because that seems a little out of place. If it was the -1, I could see that, but -1.5, you actually think there's some legs to this? I don't believe that. Not with McCaffrey back. I think Kittle will be back. That would be if he's not back, I might rethink this.
I think this is probably an overreaction to the fact that the Niners lost last week. And I mean, not that they look good, but it's a bit of an overreaction because again, you've got that division opponent that wants to come in and do you dirty like that. And the Niners are without receivers. I actually don't know what Kittle's status is for this week. That might change my angle on it a little bit. But Green Bay going in and beating Chicago, they were looking like death. Chicago was. Yeah. They got up for that game, and the Packers barely beat them. The Packers are not a good team. At this point, they're not a bad team, but they're not what their record says. That's my opinion.
You don't believe in that 7-3?
I don't believe in the 7-3. No. I think they're better than 3-7, but I would put them at they're middle of the road team that's masquerading as a good team.
That's strong words. I mean, they've got some wins against some tough teams and made it a close-ish game with the Lions. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I just don't. I'm not completely sold on Jordan Love. He's a turnover machine right now. He's not making great decisions. I think that's really what it boils down to.
I would agree with that myself. And I don't think San Francisco is a team that you can afford to make those mistakes with. You give them a short field and that offense gets humming. It's going to be a long day for that team.
I would absolutely agree with that. So we'll see. As a spoiler, with where that line is sitting right now, as long as it doesn't move on me before I actually get to fire off these bets here, the San Francisco 49ers are a lock teaser leg for me because they, in my opinion, the game should be about pick 'em. And if you give me all the way up to a touchdown of wiggle room, that's a smash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's pretty easy to go ahead and slide that in there.
Yep, easy one.
That's what she said.
A little too far. This is a family show.
Gotcha. My bad. I apologize. All the kids listening.
Hey, clean it up, big dog. I'm gonna move on to the next one. We've got the next one we want to talk about. By the way, if you want to see all of our game picks, we don't have time to go through them all. Send us an email, footballclownsanonymous@gmail.com. We'll add you to our glorious pick spreadsheet, and you can see just how shitty we are at this. So anyway, I gotta throw that in there. You know, last week was not our best week. In general, we're doing all right. But anyway, we got the Arizona Cardinals on the road against the Seattle Seahawks. Again, very tight NFC West. This is Arizona's opportunity to assert themselves in that division race and really put themselves in the driver's seat for real. But it's on the road in a tough building to play in. That's Seattle. So I have the Cardinals winning 24-20. Kurtis has the Cardinals winning 30-27. So Kurtis has got a higher scoring game here. I'm a little lower scoring. Vegas says the Cardinals on the road are favored by 1 point and the over-under is 47.5. So we both got the Cardinals winning this game. And, I think that what we've seen from the Cardinals and their sort of resurgence now late in the season has been pretty much on par with what Kurtis actually called early in the, to give you a little respect, is what Kurtis called earlier in the preseason actually. And to be honest with you, I don't think any of these other NFC West teams are quite have the same mojo that the Cardinals do right now. The Seahawks are feeling good, beating the San Francisco 49ers on the road. Good for them. I think they come home and play okay, but not enough to beat this Cardinals team. And I think the Cardinals are coming off of a bye. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they played this week. So, I know it's a road game. It's a division game, but I like give me the Cardinals in this game. Admittedly Vegas says it's going to be close, but I like the Cardinals.
I would push back against one statement. I think the Rams are certainly contenders for that division when healthy. That offense, Matt Stafford any given week could hang a pretty rough stat line on you and put the game away. It's with Puka and Cooper, like that's a scary offense, right? And then Kyron Williams in the backfield, of course, that's tough to overcome. So, but to your the first point you made, if the Cardinals win this game, that's a nice lead to have in the division. That'll feel really good.
Driver's seat. To your just to clarify, yes, I agree with you about the Rams and the way they're playing now, but they had a couple of those losses because they had injuries to their wide receivers.
Right.
And now they've put themselves in a position to be ousted by the Cardinals just based on sort of, the fact that they have the lead right now. But anyway, go on.
Yeah. I agree with everything you said. I do think it's a higher scoring game just because I don't believe in either of their defenses too much. We'll see.
We should check the weather in Seattle. Actually, that's one other thing. It didn't factor into my play, but if it's going to be miserable and rainy, then we're hitting unders on this one. 47.5. The AFC North likes the smash mouth football type of brand kind of thing. Did you lose your headphones?
Oh.
Kurtis is struggling over here, having technical difficulties, but the 47.5 is a lot. I know the AFC North likes to play this brand of like smash mouth football and whatnot, but the NFC West can sometimes have some of that a little bit too. So we'll see. You coming through, Earth? ET phone home.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, nice. I couldn't hear you for a second.
Oh, you lose me on the headphones?
I guess they died. I don't know what just happened. They just cut out.
Terrible. Technical difficulties. 5-yard penalty on Kurtis.
This makes for good content right here.
This is good content. Actually, you know what looks good? If for those of you watching us on YouTube, now Kurtis doesn't have the headphones on, so you can actually see the clown face background a little bit more, and he actually looks a little.
Yeah.
He's leaning into that. Yep, there we go. There it is. After last week, I would be remiss if I didn't give you the opportunity to talk about your beloved Eagles against the Rams this week.
This
Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, this game's going to be sweet. Vegas has the Eagles favored by 3 points, over under 50 points. We both got the Eagles winning because how could you not? Ren 27-23, Kurtis with an aggressive 31-28. I'm basically all 4 of these games, I'm expecting a lot of points. I am looking forward to all 3 of these games, but this game, it just feels like, even though the Rams are in a terrible spot, that the Eagles need to win this to assert their dominance in the NFC. I mean, regardless of record, the Rams, the past few years have been one of the teams you have to go through if you want to get to the Super Bowl. And it just feels like a statement game for the Eagles. Rams, I mean, we just talked about they're struggling in their own division. They're obviously struggling in the conference. It's a must-win game for them. I mean, you're running out of time to get this figured out, especially if Arizona ends up winning this game. Like it's a must-win for playoff hopes here for the Rams. So, both of these offenses are surging right now. The Eagles' defense is kind of nice at the moment, so I'm hoping that they'll be able to give Stafford and company trouble, but it's not necessarily unlikely that we just talked about the weapons that the Rams have. So I think it'll be a fun game regardless of what happens.
It's interesting. We both have it. I think the Eagles are the better team here on paper, and they're definitely playing better than the Rams. But we both have it a relatively close game. And if this line moves over to plus 3.5 for the Rams, I might consider taking it actually, because I expect it to be a pretty close game. Like you said, the Rams have a lot to play for right now, and they're going to lose track of that division. Especially, like you said, especially if the Cardinals win that game against Seattle, they're going to lose track of their division really fast, and even potentially fall out of the wild card race a little bit too, or fall behind in the wild card race. So they need this game in a big way, and I would expect it to be to end up being pretty close. So I still would take the Eagles to win, but I could see this being a really exciting, and props to the scheduling people. I don't know if they flex this game or not, but this being the Sunday Night Football game. Excellent work.
Right. Yeah. So the Rams are currently sitting at the 8th seed, Seahawks at the 9. So if the Hawks lost, that would be helpful, I guess. But the Niners at that 10 spot. So of course the NFC West just beating up on each other, just all over the place within the division, within the conference. Just wouldn't expect anything less from that division.
Absolutely not. It's gonna be an exciting one to watch, and good good primetime football. And speaking of good primetime football, the Monday Night Football game is the last one we're going to discuss. The Harbaugh Baltimore Ravens traveling all the way across the country to play the Los Angeles Chargers. John Harbaugh versus Jim Harbaugh, again, in the flesh, the two brothers playing against each other again. Well done by the NFL scheduling committee.
NFL script writers are just so deep in their bag this year. It just feels like this has been a good season. I've been enjoying this one.
Absolutely. Oh, this is going to be a wild and crazy ride here. In this game, the Baltimore Ravens are favored by 3 points on the road. We both have a 31-30 score. Now, remember, those longtime listeners will know we do not consult each other on these ahead of time. We do not look at each other's picks. We do not look at the Vegas lines. We just pick the final score, and we hope that we can derive some value from it. We have exactly the same score in this game, which means it'll probably be nothing. It'll probably be 6-3. That's usually how it goes. Regardless, I took the Chargers to win 31-30. I like the mojo they have. The Ravens have some cracks, and we've seen them exploited a few times. Long flight across the country just makes me a little nervous about this game, but I could very much see it going either way. Kurtis has 31-30 for the Baltimore Ravens. Again, not that confident, but very interesting. And the over-under from Vegas is 50 points. We each have the over considerably. on that line. At the same time, am I confident enough to take it? I don't know, but man, it's interesting. It's easy to put in the score, and then when you see where the line is, you're like, oh man, 50 points is a lot. So we'll see how that ends up going. But what an awesome game that we have to watch here in the Monday Night Football slot. And a shame because we're going to be recording next Monday night, which means we're not going to be watching it that closely. Maybe we should push our recording.
I mean, I have definitely been keeping the games on the side here.
I'm the clown. I'm the clown not watching.
Yes, I'm a degenerate and can't help myself. So, you goofball alert for sure. This game is going to be everything we hoped and dreamed for. I can feel it already. You can feel it in the air. I mean, we were talking about the Bengals earlier, who have been a offensive firestorm, but just can't close out games. The most recent example was against the Chargers, who just out-offensed the Cincinnati Bengals. Justin Herbert, that boy is a dog right now. Or as Coach Harbaugh has been let us know, he's a beast. Like, a boy, he can't be stopped right now. He's playing with Quentin Johnson and Lad McConkey as his top two receivers right now, and he's lighting up the stat sheet.
He doesn't need receivers. Great. He doesn't need receivers. He's a dog.
And they got J.K. Dobbins out there and Gus Edwards, as their running back tandem. I mean, they're doing pretty good, but
just realized Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins revenge games. Just saying.
And I didn't even put together that it was the damn Harbaugh bowl. Like, just wonderful, wonderful game. The Ravens pass defense is terrible, so in theory, Justin's going to go crazy. Derrick Henry.
What more can you say about Derrick Henry?
I expect a bounce back game this week. I don't know what the Chargers run defense has been looking like. I don't really know if it matters. I'm thinking a bounce back game is in the cards for the Ravens offense in general. It would be really fun to watch a nice back and forth affair. And I think we'll get it. I think so.
Yeah. It's gonna be an amazing few games here. These primetime games are definitely and I just want to throw out there, I put a note in the sheet that a lot of these games suck. I was more so talking about the games in the early slot. There's some real stinkers over on the, like as far as not being that exciting. You've got, I guess the Patriots and Dolphins could be interesting, but Detroit's going to mollywop the Colts. Vikings and Bears, meh. Tampa Bay versus Danny DeVito, like Cooper Rush versus the Commanders. Come on. But these primetime games and, still a number of these other games going to keep things really interesting. And hopefully we can make some money on it.
That would be wonderful. I actually decided to bet on all these games because why not? I am willing into existence.
I gotta stop you. I just looked at your slate of bets. You were so dumb. You go 0 for 4 on unders, and so you decide to go for 4 overs. Oh my! What could go wrong? You're so dumb. Oh my god. All right, I'll just let you go ahead. You're not going to be able to talk about these anymore.
Oh, shit.
Just get the fuck out of here, big dog.
So what Ren is pointing out is last week I went 0 for 4 on unders. I think we were pretty vocal about that to start. And this week, all the games that we just talked about, I took the over. Even though for the San Francisco Green Bay game, I didn't predict an over, we're willing it into existence. We're betting with the heart right now. We're betting with the heart. And you know what I think is going to come to fruition? What the Oracle is not doing, though, that man is not betting with the heart. He's betting with his head. These bets right here, I think it's been a couple of weeks now since we've hit a parlay. So we just had to go back to the basics. You know what I'm saying? We had to bring back the 5-legger. To bring back the 5-legger. And
back to basics with 5 legs. I love it. Keep going. Don't go.
And we had to go with 5 legs that we know they are who we thought they were. We know about these teams. Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
money line. We're not worried about the Browns. We're not doing it. Not again. We're not worried about them. Miami, money line. Patriots are not messing with Miami right now. Tyreek Hill's going for 200 yards. Washington against the Dallas Cowboys, money line.
GG.
Because Jaden Daniels about to get loose, bro. Cooper Rush, meh. We're not worried. The Washington defense is going to eat up that offense. Denver, money line. We know Bo Nix we trust. We didn't talk about this today. In Sean Payton we trust. Payton we trust.
Very interesting. We get rid of Russell Wilson. We solve all of our problems. Denver did.
Those boys are looking like a team that nobody wants to see in the playoffs right now, with a rookie quarterback that everybody looked at as the that's all they had left to choose from. Very interesting team.
He was the 6th QB off the board. Bo Nix was.
Yeah.
He may be the best. He may already be the best quarterback for the Broncos since Peyton Manning left. That's a wild statement. They have not had any. Don't go back and think about it. You want a Paxton Lynch, Trevor Siemian?
Yeah.
Like, come on. They had some real stinkers. And Wilson's a good quarterback, but you saw him play. You saw him play for Denver.
Yeah. But wow, yeah. But okay. And round out this parlay. Houston money line because we don't believe in Tennessee. We went all divisional matchups because we're going back to basics, baby. You know what I'm saying? The crystal ball very clear this week. If this hits, I might need a donkey hat because your boy's gonna transform tomorrow.
You're gonna be saying some wild shit next week if this hits.
I yield.
The wildest. All right. Ren's bets are awfully boring, but we're gonna take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers favored by 5 points against the Hot Dog Giants. Do they think that they can solve their problems by benching Daniel Jones? No, they're going to put in an objectively worse quarterback, and the Bucs have looked pretty good this year. They're coming off a bye, and they're going to steamroll that Giants team and have Brian Daboll is going to get fired after this game because he made the wrong move. And I
think Evans is coming back as well.
Yeah, no, I saw that too. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Mike Evans is coming back. So the Bucs will be back to at least mostly form. They still don't have Godwin, obviously. I'm also going to take, this is Kurtis said it's donkey move, doing it anyways. We're going to take the Bears plus 3.5 at home against the Minnesota Vikings because divisional chaos. The Vikings have underperformed against admittedly subpar teams, but they're not the buzzsaw. They play to their competition. They play bad. They're beating a lot of teams. When they play good teams, they play well. When they play bad teams, they play bad. They're going to play bad in this game. I like Chicago to keep it close or even potentially pull off an upset. I'm waiting for the Vikings to let me down again. Anyway, Kurtis has got a lot to say about this one, and I'm going to let him, but not till after the Scholar has his moment in the sun. So Scholar went 0 for 2 last week. Chiefs couldn't keep it within one possession. The Falcons are trash, and I'm never betting on them again. However, Crystal Ball has cleared for the Scholar as well. We're looking for a bounce-back week, and we're going back to basics. We don't do 2 teaser legs. We do 4 teasers. Of course we do. And we match them all with each other in 2 pairs for a round-robin combination. The Lions, minus 1.5. Do we believe in the Colts? Absolutely not. The Jets suck. The Colts aren't a good team, so we think the Lions are going to kick the shit out of them. Lions minus 1.5. Do we believe in Tennessee? Kurtis already said, no, sir, we do not. Texans minus 1.5. I already teased this. I already alluded to this. The 49ers plus 8.5 against the Green Bay Packers. Packers probably should not be favored in that game. At the very least, it's a pick 'em type of game. 49ers are going to bounce back, at least keep it close. Give me the 49ers plus 8.5. And the last one I decided to throw in, I know I'm not getting it through the 7. The Dolphins are favored by 7 points against the Patriots. I'm going to tease them down to -1 because I believe that they're going to win that game against the New England Patriots. Drake May's okay, but this Dolphins team with Tua at the helm is looking pretty good, and I think they're gonna roll and they're gonna hum in this game. So that's where I'm at. Again, four different legs. I match them all with each other at 6 combinations total, and good luck to our wallets.
I can't disagree with the Bears take because of the performance they put up against the Jaguars. They should beat the snot out the Bears, but I don't. Oh man, your PTSD is wearing off on me, bro. I'm catching it.
I think it is. This is the letdown spot. This is the letdown spot right now in a division game to be a close game. If it was in Minneapolis, I would probably go the other way on it, but I just can't unsee the fact that this Vikings team is, again, they're good, but I don't like the Packers. The Vikings are not 8-2 good. You can't convince me that they're 8-2 good. So they're doing what they're doing what they have to. They went on the road against Jacksonville
on their own.
They went on the road against Jacksonville. They got to win. They went on the road against Tennessee. They got to win. Earlier this season, they beat the Texans. That doesn't look quite as impressive anymore. Just throwing it out there. The Texans are still a good team, but they're not the buzzsaw we maybe thought they'd be. So anyway, it's just this is a letdown spot. Vikings are still going to make the playoffs and get embarrassed in the wild card round of whoever the hell they play. But they're not an 8-2 caliber team.
Yeah. Just and if they do let you down, at least you made some money off of it.
That is exactly my logic.
Yep.
I will feel very good about that.
All righty. And with that, we've got our bets in. Good luck, everybody, to week 12, to your week 12 bets. Follow us on social, Spotify, YouTube, email us, footballclownsanonymous@gmail.com. Let's go get that money.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Next week.
Absolutely. Take care, sir.
Peace.